I had a set of 3 volumes of the History of the Jews written by John Murray from 1830. I have wanted to read through this, but I've kind of haven't found the time, so I figured I would do readings of them here, and that might help me to find the time to read through them. I've only read a little bit so far, so most of these books I have not read yet. So I'll start this video just by looking at the contents of all 3. Book 1. The Patriarchal Age. Prefatory Remarks. Life of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Progress of Civilization. Observations on the Patriarchal History. Book 2. Israel and Egypt. Family of Jacob, Joseph. State of Egypt. Famine. Migration of Jacob and his whole family. Administration of Joseph. Period between Joseph and Moses. Birth and education of Moses. Flight and return to Egypt. Plagues of Egypt. Exodus or departure of the Israelites. Passage of the Red Sea. Ancient traditions. Book 3. The Desert. The March, Mount Sinai, Delivery of the Law, the Tabernacle, the Law. Book 4. The Invasion. Advance to the Holy Land. Repulse. Residence in the desert. Second advance. Conquests to the east of the Jordan. Death and character of Moses. Book 5. The Conquest. Joshua assumes the command. Passage of the Jordan. Capture of Jericho. War with the Canaanites of the south and of the north. Partition of the land. Law of property. Book 6. The Judges. Authority of the Judges. Destruction of the tribe of Benjamin. Othniel. Deborah. Gideon. Jephthah. Samson. Eli. Samuel. Nomination of Saul as king. Book 7. The Monarchy. Reign of Saul. David. Death of Saul. Union of the whole kingdom under David. His conquests. Occupation of Jerusalem. His crime. Expulsion. Restoration. Death. Solomon. The building of the temple. Magnificence and commerce of Solomon. Book 8. Kingdoms of Judah and Israel. Accession of Rehoboam. Jeroboam. Separation of the 2 kingdoms. Asa. House of Omri. Building of Samaria. Ahab. The prophet Elijah. Elisha. Jehoshaphat. Hostilities with Syria. House of Jehu. Fall of Samaria. Captivity of the 10 tribes. Hezekiah. Manasseh. Josiah. Assyrian conquests. First, final capture of Jerusalem. And there's 3 maps. The wanderings of the Israelites, Palestine, and the dominions of David and Solomon. And in Volume 2, Book 9, The High Priests, the Captivity, the Return to the Holy Land, Rebuilding of the Temple, the Samaritans, Esther, Ezra, Nehemiah, Nehemiah, Simon the Just, Alexandrian Jews, persecution under Antiochus Epiphanes. Book 10, the Asmoneans, Mattathias, Judas the Maccabee, Jonathan, Simon, John Hyrenius, Aristobulus, Alexander Janneus, Alexandra, Aristobulus II, Hyrcanus II. Book 11, Herod, Accession, Battle of Actium, Death of Mariamne, Magnificence of Herod, Sebast built, Rebuilding of the Temple, Caesarea, Sons of Mariam, Death of Antipater, Death of Herod. Book 12, the Herodian family, Archelaus, Roman governors, Pontius Pilate, Herod Antipas, Philip, accession of Caligula, Agrippa, persecutions in Alexandria, Philo, Babylonian Jews, Agrippa king. Book 13, the Roman governors, Cuspius Fadus, Tiberius Alexander, Ventidius Camanus, Felix, Porcius Festus, Albinus, Gessius, Florus, commencement of the revolt, the Zealots, Manahem, massacre of the Jews in the provinces, advance and defeat of Cestius Gallus. Book 14, preparations for the war, Vespasian, Josephus, affairs of Galilee, John of Giscala, affairs of Jerusalem, Ananus the chief priest, Simon son of Gioras, battles near Ascalon. Book 15, the war, Vespasian, siege of Jotapata, fall of Jaffa, Mount Gerizim, capture of Jotapata, Josephus, surrender of Tiberias, fall of Tarichea, massacre, siege of Gamala, fall of Idabirium, taking of Gamala, of Giscala, flight of John, feuds in Jerusalem. And Volume 3. Book 16, Siege of Jerusalem, State of the City, Advance of the Roman Army, Danger of Titus, Capture of the first wall, of the second, Famine, Murders within the city, Crucifixions without, the city encircled with a trench and wall, Antonia taken, Capture, conflagration of the temple, capture and demolition of the city, fate of John and Simon, numbers slain and taken prisoners, triumph of Vespasian and Titus. Book 17, termination of the war, fall of Herodian, Machaerus, Masada, fate of Josephus, Agrippa, Berenice. Book 18, Ber Kokhab, Character of the Ensuing History, Re-establishment of Jewish Communities, Origin and Growth of Rabbinism, History to the Time of Trajan, Insurrections in Egypt, Cyrene, Cyprus, Mesopotamia, Palestine, Rabbi Akiba, Berokab, Fall of Bidr. Book 19, The Patriarch of the West and the Prince of the Captivity, Re-establishment of the Community, Patriarch of Tiberias, his power and dominions, Jews in Egypt, Asia Minor, Greece, Italy, Spain, Gaul, Germany, origin and nature of the rabbinical authority, the worship of the synagogue, early history of the patriarchate, civil contests, contests with the Babylonian Jews, relation with Rome, the Prince of the Captivity, Jews in China. Book 20, Judaism and Christianity, Effects of the Great Revolutions in the World, from the 4th to the 8th century, Restoration of the Persian Kingdom and Magian religion, Jews of Mesopotamia, Babylonian Talmud, Establishment of Christianity, Attempts at Conversion, Constantine, Julian, Rebuilding the Temple of Jerusalem, Theodosius and Saint Ambrose, Conflicts between Jews and Christians, Conversions in Minoria and Crete, Tumults in Alexandria, Fall of the Patriarchate. Book 21, The Jews under the Barbarian Kings and the Byzantine Emperors, Eruption and Conquests of the Barbarians, Trade of the Jews, Slave Trade, Decrees of Councils of Pope Gregory I, Conduct of the Christians to the Jews, Arian Kings of Italy, Pope Gregory I, State anterior to the rise of Mohammedanism in the Eastern Empire, Insurrections of the Samaritans, Laws of Justinian, Dispute about the language in which the law was to be read, State of the Jews in the Persian dominions, Persecutions, Civil contests, Conquest of Syria and Jerusalem by the Persians, Reconquest by the Emperor Heraclius. Book 22, Judaism and Mohammedanism, Jews in Arabia, Jewish Kingdom in Homeritis, Rise of Muhammad, Wars against the Arabian Jews, Progress of Mohammedanism, State of Spain, Cruel laws of the Visigothic kings, Conquest of Spain by the Moors, Persecuting laws in France. Book 23, Golden Age of Judaism, The Jews under the Caliphs, Rise of Karaism, Kingdom of Khosar, Jews under the Byzantine Empire, Jews breakers of images, Jews of Italy, Jews under Charlemagne and Louis the Debonair, Agobard, Bishop of Lyons, Jews in Spain, High State of Literature, Moses Maimonides. Book 24, Iron Age of Judaism, persecutions in the East, extinction of the princes of the captivity, Jews in Palestine, in the Byzantine Empire, feudal system, chivalry, power of the church, usury, persecutions in Spain, massacres by the Crusaders, persecutions in France, Philip Augustus, Saint Louis, Spain, France, Philip the Fair, War of the Shepherds, pestilence, poisoning of the fountains, Charles IV, Charles V, Charles VI, final expulsion from France, Germany, the flagellants, miracle of the host at Brussels. Book 25, Jews in England, First Settlement, William Rufus, Henry II, Coronation of Richard I, Massacre at York, King John, Spoliations of the Jews, Henry III, Jewish Parliament, Edward I, Statute of Judaism, Final expulsion from the realm. Book 26, Jews expelled from Spain, Zeal of the clergy, New Christians, Inquisition, Expulsion of the Jews, Sufferings in Italy, in Morocco, in Portugal, Subsequent miseries in that kingdom. Book 27, False Messiahs, Jews in Turkey, in Italy, Invention of printing, Reformation, Luther, Holland, Negotiation with Cromwell, Messiahs, Sabbatai, Seville, Frank. Book 28, Modern Judaism, Change in the relative state of the Jews to the rest of mankind, Jews in Poland, in Germany, Frederick the Great, Naturalization Bill in England, Toleration Edict of Joseph II, Jews of France, Petition to Louis XVI, Revolution, Bonaparte, more recent acts for the amelioration of the civil state of the Jews, general estimate of the number of Jews in Africa, Asia, Europe, America. Conclusion.